Hello, everybody. It is Badger Wild. We are back with another ship showcase. Today, I'm going to be showing off another one of my creations on the Steam Workshop. This is the M3 Healer 6x6 light cargo truck. I am going to install some stuff down here so you people can see what this thing does. But most of y'all have probably noticed this vehicle from the live streams that we've been doing. You've seen I've had about two of these, probably about three of these so far. One of them got completely obliterated. Have to build another one for that. But as you can see, this is a 6x6 light cargo vehicle. Was designed by me and AO Chris. Originally, it was a combat vehicle, and after it became a combat vehicle, we realized it's not too good at combat because of the open cockpit and everything, but it makes a good cargo hauler. And so after some experimentation, we managed to get something that can hold almost 8 times the capacity of a single engineer. There's a lot of options to this thing. There's a lot of things going on with it. First on, let's go with what we can see, because I have a cutaway of all the internal systems that I added to this. This thing is super complex. It's more complex than I would say the F302 that I made from Stargate. So going on to this, obviously we got our 6 wheels. We got our lights in the front. I apparently have situations going on with my jetpack. There we go. Anyway, we have this thing as a 2-seater. You can carry someone with you. I am probably going to put a version up with some seats in the back so you can carry more people. That'll be in the future. This has about two medium cargo containers and a connector, which allows you to connect up to things. You've seen me do this on the live stream Survival Under Fire, and you've probably seen me connect this thing up in its own specialized bay. How it's built, you just put a half block down and then set that half block onto the secondary block underneath your connector. So behind here, we have a set of spare tires. Now, how this works here is with the spare tires, say you're driving along, one of your tires gets shot, you grind down one of these, lift your vehicle back up, activate the add tire feature. The add tire feature throws a new tire on, and then you just connect this tire back up to it, or take all the parts from this tire and rebuild the new tire with it. Now, you're probably asking a question here. How do we lift this thing up? And I'm glad you asked. I'll show you in a second. Back here, we have our beacon. We have 2 small cargo containers for us to store small supplies. You can store a tank or 2 inside this thing, or whatever other little things you'd like to have. In between both of these seats, you will see we have a weapon rack that will hold a gun and some ammunition, so you never are caught without a weapon on the field. Handy little place to put it right there like a trunk gun. Now, some of you were asking that question before. How does this thing fix itself? How do you lift this sucker up to make it work? And glad you asked. If you push number 8 here, you will notice the healer will lift itself off the ground. That's because between 8 being in the front and 7 being in the back, there are actually 2 hydraulic jack systems in the back to lift this vehicle up and lift it back down. In one of the live streams that I've recently done, I ran over a robot, which caused a lot of problems for the chassis. Ended up ripping the first 2 pieces, the front 2 tires, completely off of the healer. After doing that, I managed to lift it back up, repair all this stuff with blocks around, and put the 2 tires back on. You actually got to see me repair this thing on the fly, which was awesome. So where we stop here with the completed healer, we turn around and go to the cutaway, so you can see what other nifty things are going on inside this vehicle. So here you can see where we placed our jack systems. We also have a hydrogen tank here, or a hydrogen engine, 4 batteries, a set of hydrogen tanks, some piping. For those of you that are wondering, yes, this is it's not exactly a hydrogen powered vehicle. Not entirely hydrogen powered. We're going to lift the front end of this thing up so you can see just what all is going on underneath this. So you can see under here, we do have our hydrogen generators that can be activated at any point in time. But we do have 1, 2, and if we go back over here, we have 3, 4, 5 small ship hydrogen generators. Now, this is not enough for hydrogen thrusters, but it is enough to run the hydrogen engine for a specific set amount of time. Now, if you're in the field, you're probably wondering what happens if you run out of hydrogen. Glad you asked. If you're near ice, you can actually load this is an O2H2 generator, which can be loaded up. You see we got a pipe going from here up to that, which goes into this pipe grid, which locks in all of these. This has been done a couple of years back, so you won't see some impressively new things going on with the vehicle. But that translates up into these 2 cargo containers, all of which, except for the 2 cargo containers back here, all can be accessed from this connector. Now, say you are late game, and we thought of everything with this. So you're getting to be late game. We have a gyroscope here to prevent the vehicle from flipping, so you can actually gain some control over by pressing the Q and E keys. And we also have a hooked up small nuclear generator to maintain. And I say 4 batteries, I just got to looking and realized we've got 7 batteries under here that are operating. So yeah, this thing has a lot of features. It's just a very feature-packed little vehicle that when we built it, the thing that we kind of griped about was if we build this thing, it's not going to be very useful later on. So we started looking at, other features we could do. We started pulling out small blocks and stuff, and anywhere we could find space, we would then pack some kind of feature in. So after about 3 main iterations of this, you end up with this, the M3 Healer 6x6, the workhorse of the I.W.L. ground forces. This thing is pretty bad, if I do say so myself. It can drive fairly decently, handles good. It can flip, but it does just look amazing. That's my phone going off. Don't worry about it, folks. And this thing has been put through its paces. For those of you that are wondering just how good this vehicle is on terrain, we not only built this thing on the moon, tested it on almost every planet. I also downloaded the Hillcrest facility for the vehicle testing facility, which is a scenario you can get online. You should check that out, or on Steam. And I put this thing through every single course it had except for the combat course. And it handles everything very well. It can climb good. It can hold its own almost completely vertical. And it does drive like a dream. Now, there is one problem with the Healer that I've never been able to figure out, and that is sometimes it has this bad habit of turning left. I don't know why. It's apparently a NASCAR or believes it's a NASCAR. But as you can see, the vehicle drives very good, and this is up on the Steam Workshop for anyone who wants to run it. I would say if you're going to print this thing off on a printer, just put your printing block on top up here. Hang on, let me just hit the brakes. And I'll show you probably right about here. Y'all could put just a small block right there. This is where you should connect it up. And then start moving it up and down with a set of pistons. You've probably seen me on Survival Under Fire print one of these babies off. And they print very easily. You can print this, just very slowly move the printer up and down, make sure it prints thoroughly. And it doesn't require a whole lot of parts. Like I said, this thing only, well, I didn't say, but this thing only carries about 300 blocks. It is not a massively big vehicle that's going to require a lot of stuff. It just requires 3 blocks or 300 and something blocks to operate. It's a small vehicle, but for an early game vehicle that you want to run out to like a mining facility somewhere, or you got a buddy of yours hand mining to get that first Atmo driller or ion driller or whatever kind of driller you're wanting to get, this is the vehicle you want to grab and go out there and start moving stuff back and forth. And it also helps when you're going out and building things as well. You can load this thing up with, you want to build another outpost somewhere, you can load it up with parts. all kinds of supplies, get to the area you need to go to, and then start building whatever it is you're wanting to build, your base or whatever. You can also carry ammo, weapons. I will say this thing does have enough room here. You could put a semi-large hydrogen tank and run hydrogen back and forth. But yeah, this thing has a lot of different features packed into it. Just go through like the bar here. Number 1, you have speed increase. Number 2, you have speed decrease, because sometimes if you're going a long distance, you're going a lot more power. 3, unlocks connector. 4, turns on the nuclear battery. 5, turns off and on the spotlights and rear lights. 6, turns on and off the hydrogen generator. 7 is the back piston here. 8 is the front piston up front. 9 is the battery. And 1 is the hydrogen tank recharge when you hook it up to the station. All in all, a very nice little vehicle that you will be not only using in the early stages of the game, and then you can get as soon as you get a printer built up, or you can weld this up yourself by hand, but it also works really well on like Rover only servers. That was another thing we were worried about, was Rover only servers, if we could take this thing and use it on them. And it works very well. I'm not gonna lie. You can put this thing on there and you can just start tearing it up immediately. It's a good, like I said, it was designed as a light rover to get a large amount of materials moving so that we can get past that one hurdle when you need that really good miner, or you're trying to build that drill and you've got raw materials nearby, or you want to move good materials into the base. This does it. If you want to do some ground missions for economy missions and make some money, you can put your supplies in here. Anything that you can carry, you can fill several missions at one time, drive this thing right in, fill the missions completely out. It's perfect for that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video of the Healer 6x6. Hope you guys will check it out on the Steam Workshop. Leave me a thumbs up for it. I'll leave a link to it in the description. And as always, folks, stay frosty, keep your head on a swivel. I'll see you guys next time. This is I.W.L signing out.